you did mention working for an insurance company, Churchill, which consequently probably made you wanting to do like what you're doing now, presentation profit by going to Tony Robbins shows. But what really triggers that for you to start to kind of think about that, making it as a business instead of just learning about the psychology of it or how you've overcome whatever obstacles you faced with you and partner?
Well, I'd seen in London, in the I'm talking here the very late 90s, early 2000s. I'd seen in London these various events free events that people were doing, and at the time there were only a couple of providers for these free events, and those were one company was doing property events. That was Russ Whitney events. That later, I think that brand was bought out by Tigrant, I think. Another company were doing an options trading course, not options in property, but options based on stocks. They were called Optionetics. But there was a guy in the UK that was doing it at the time, Darren Winters. Mm-hmm. What actually happened was, luckily, just not luckily, but after I'd been to the Tony Robbins event, I became part of something called the Yes Group. Now, the Yes Group is a Tony Robbins, that people have been to a Tony Robbins event that want to keep that energy going. They meet one Wednesday, I think the last Wednesday of every month in London.
Yeah.
Anyways, I went to one of these conferences, and I was then later invited to a charity ball to raise money for the Tony Robbins Foundation, where they would pay for people to go to what was called Discovery Camp at the time, which is where kids could have their own sort of UPW event. So, and there was to raise money, there was an auction where you could bid for certain auction items, and that money would go to the Tony Robbins Foundation. And one of these was for a day with this guy called Darren, and so I bid for it. But then when I went, I thought, well, having done the Tony sort of experience, I thought to myself, well, why don't I use this time not to learn the trading, but learn from him? Yeah. How does he put these free events on, and kind of make that work to get people to buy into the sort of the ongoing training? So that's what I did. Yeah. And then Darren helped me originally. He did some mail shots, etc., to help me fill some of those events as well. We did some joint venturing. So that was, I was clever enough to see that this was a business model, because I looked at the Bob Robbins thing and looked at the business model as well, in that, he had this big sort of event, the UPW, but it was a forerunner to getting people to buy his Mastery University, obviously, which we'd already pre-purchased. So I could see the business model. I thought, wow, this could be really cool. But what really impacted me was, the fact that you're running a business and you create these, not customers or clients, but raving fans, because you add so much value to their lives. And I thought, well, I'm pretty sure that, the people I'm doing IT with wouldn't consider them to be raving fans of ours. I think they're just clients, and consultants. So it's like, it's kind of like looking at it and thinking, wow, how great. So that was what I suppose I was attracted to that idea of creating the sort of raving fans and, feeling that you're adding more value.
In your looking back then, maybe in your teenage life or when you were younger or even when you were adult, what role did lack of money in your household back then growing up shape your view about money today?
Yeah, so as a child, I wouldn't really have experienced much of that. I don't think, I know it now. If I look backwards now, I can see that we didn't have much money. But that wasn't my experience growing up, that it became like a driver, because everything just kind of normalized. It just for you, just appears normal. But, truth be known, I was the kid that, didn't go on the school trips because my parents couldn't afford the fees for us to go for the extracurricular activities. But having said that, my father was amazing in that He came to pretty much every football match I ever played. He was the father that also took all the other kids whose fathers didn't come. He'd be the one, helping them to get to the games in the car, etc. So, I have nothing but gratitude for my early years. But yeah, so it became a driver, I think, after sort of age 13, because it was very clear to me quite early on that since my family unit had dissipated, that I better do something to take care of myself. And because my early experiences of working in a supermarket weren't exactly going to be allowing me to live even a comfortable existence, let alone a life of luxury, no. The only thing left for me was sales. I didn't have the education to get, a doctor's, become a doctor or a lawyer or a solicitor, or have a profession like many of your people on this particular podcast perhaps have. So my route left was sales. And of course that naturally led to me ultimately to becoming an entrepreneur, because in the end, if you're a good salesperson and you can sell, well, in the end, if you sell something that you create or something that you have the rights to sell, then obviously you then become a business owner. Yeah. So, that's how it sort of naturally developed and led for me to become in the place I am today. And I just really love what I do. We show professional people, entrepreneurs, or people who sell a service of some kind that naturally solves a problem or helps somebody or a company to get better results. We help them put together a presentation that's not a sales presentation, but it's what we call a serve and sell presentation. So in essence, it's designed in a way that it's attractive for potential clients to come and watch. Now, of course, we do this online these days. Back in the day, it was all done in person, but that they would be attracted to come and watch a virtual event for 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes, a couple of hours, or even longer, get loads of real, tangible, tactical information that they can then go and apply or implement in order to start resolving their issues. But equally, most of the time, those people who are very interested in solving their problems, because not everyone's willing to solve their problems, it's a natural, logical next step for them to want you, the expert, to actually help them implement that advice to get a faster, or shall we say, a better overall result. And if you're offering the opportunity for them to potentially become a client of yours, with your ongoing support, whether that is in some kind of professional way, or whether it's in a training course, online training course, workshop, working one-to-one in a coaching, consulting, advisory type of way, then it's a really great way to grow your business and make sales, because you're essentially doing a presentation that is one-to-many. So you're able to broadcast out essentially, something that's of value to other people, but at the same time is raising your positioning, your status, and the awareness that you exist in the marketplace. And you're not just doing a sales presentation, which is look at me, buy my stuff, but actually you're adding value first, which is what we should be doing in every relationship, is adding value first, because give and you shall receive is the good mantra to live by, isn't it?